what's happening, guys? Hope you guys are well. I would say today we are getting right into it. It's been an adventurous week, to say the least. Lots of some ups, definitely ups, but definitely downs. No bueno. Not only training perspective, but we're gonna get into that. I got a couple of questions, but not too many today, so I hope I stay under an hour today, which would be my goal. And a couple of questions. So if you have any questions regarding training, anything can give you an advice on, or like some kind of experiences. If I don't know, I'm also going to tell you that I don't know or I'm not sure. So only if I'm like sure, I would say left or right, in my opinion. Anyways, I would say we get into the training as always. So the outlet of the session is that first we're going to start with some training talk. So we're going to go into my training peaks, having a look at my sessions, what I did last week, what is upcoming now, because now it's actually pretty exciting. The Ironman 70.3 and Ironman block has started 2 days ago. So we're getting into that, what I'm doing with that. And on that front also I did a little bit of something in the last week that I think what we can go in right away. Since I'm since I'm self-coached on my own journey, I wasn't sure, and I want to be sure because I'm not taking risks more than I have to. It's already a risky journey I'm on here. So the thing is, I wanted to make sure training-wise, am I able to do this alone, let's say, to get towards world class? Because obviously when you think on paper, that is maybe a risk to take. So I wanted to make sure. So I had a call with a 3-time world champion. He won Kona 3 times. And he more or less had the same journey in many ways actually as me. He studied physiotherapy, came later into sport in his 20s, and he won his first Kona title with 38. So they'll basically be me in a way, because I'll just need time to catch up for the aerobic conditioning and take it to speed. It just takes time. There's no magic in it, right? But so I had a chat with him. I wrote him detailed before everything I'm doing and all the details, some questions I had, went through it all. And the main takeaway, first it's a bit funny because you meet your idols, so it was an interesting chat. But in many ways, it was kind of a bit, I expected to go out of the talk feeling like enlightened, like, oh my God, this, and this. And actually the main takeaway was a bit, also he confirmed it, that I'm doing training-wise 99%. He had some really good tips towards how to combine, how to, let's say, ace 70.3 before an Ironman. That's a bit tricky one, and it's the phases to do those. But in the end, he confirmed that the things I'm doing are basically right, which is a big confidence booster when you think about it, right? If a 3-time world champion tells you that based on his experiences, and we went through a lot of things, and it was great. So I was mainly looking for some kind of mentor role, because support-wise, you have to imagine, it's difficult, right? I would love to say, okay, from growing up, have a support, let's say, for example, just the Magnus Ditlev episode came out on Sweat Elite, super interesting. And you can just see one reason why he blossoms so much right now. He has massive support when it comes to sport from young age on, full support. And also the environment that he has a swim group to train in, the coaches on deck, coaches all in. So it's awesome to see. I'm really happy for him, because some people forget, but I didn't. When he came into the sport as a rookie, he was actually 2 years injured. He mentioned that once, and I didn't forget, because people that have this kind of, I think it's to some extent karma as well, that have this kind of really big outlook, or like they succeed, let's say. People that succeed more likely than not had way more challenges and just kept going. So anyways, enough of that. I would say we go into the training week. Okay, so here in my training peaks, what I did. What I did last week was we had a plan before for 3-4 months already, and before I was like, I wasn't gonna go because it's a little Finland mini trip in the North Plant in Lapland. It was beautiful. There's some pictures on Instagram if you want to see how it looked like. Absolutely incredible. It was a 4-day getaway, a 1-hour flight. We flew to the north and it was beautiful. But before, I thought, even like months ago, my first instinct is, you can't do it. You can't do it because of training life. But there was this fine balance. Now it fitted perfectly actually, because before I felt like this routine and rut really got to me, because I would love to say, okay, I live in Kenya, I have a group of people that are all in the same mission, you live on 2,400 meters in Kenya, like all those things. Some countries just really have this setting, and I looked for those settings as much as I could, but I think in the end it will come to building that setting on my own, meaning in the future I think that's what I came up with, because you can join, there are very few existing groups of elite in the world, very few. In short course there are some, long distance close to none, and yeah, so in the end I think I'll basically found my own group with 1, 2, 3 professional triathletes maybe. It's a difficult one, because on the first hand, athletically you have to be on the same level or roughly the same level. Better would be of course if some of us are better in one area and can lift the other one up. More important than that, one big problem is with triathletes, and you probably know it even in a triathlon club here locally, is that most triathletes are very insecure and they can't handle egos, not even in training. So I hope that some professional athletes can, because I think if you have a training environment where you first have the social aspect, you have the aspect of being in this together and really make yourself as good as possible in that group, because in a group you're just going to be strong. It's just easier to show up the trainings. Everything is easier, I know that. So I'm doing the hardcore version at this moment, which I know is kind of like when you found a company, the first 2 years I mentioned it is going to be challenging. So that's where I'm at, but eventually I think I'll just do something like that, find a couple of, not a couple, like very hand-picked, and yeah, have to see if it fits of course character-wise, but the main thing is, can that person, because I think I can, put away, let's say, the prize money on day X, who's gonna win, and you come back in a training environment, even if the other person won, and let's say it took 20,000 from you, or whatever, can you still be in a training environment? I think I can detach myself from that. Finding those people will be very difficult, but I think it's only win-win, because we are social, humanity is social. It's not meant to be that everybody is in their own world, because when you think about it, triathletes out of all endurance sports has lots of volume, and it's the only sport, and it's pretty common, what I do even, that you are doing most of your training alone. Maybe you have your partner as support and those things, but it's very common in a sport. And other thing, for reaching your full potential, you can grind it out, but as everybody knows, if you want to be really good at this, you got to do this for 10 years straight. Can you do it 10 years straight on your own, only everything? I don't think so, not to a high level. I think you will burn out, or whatever the name is for that, but you will expire in motivation or drive. So you need to keep it fresh, that's important. But come, let's have a look at the training. So last week we flew to the north, so there I did mostly skiing, here 2 hours, 4.5 hours, 3 hours there. Then we flew back, so it was the normal end of the 10-day rhythm. So this is here day 10 with the gym and all that. Then the first day of the Ironman block, so we can go a bit into that, because I changed quite a few things which I had planned before, because I have these 2 blocks I rotate through. One is like this year-round one, where I kind of push the upper limits, let's say, the high-end stuff, and of course have aerobic in there as well. But of course, in the end, the more aerobic training you can do, so let's say if you can train 30 hours and have quality in there and recover from it and can do it consistently, well, that's of course going to be better than someone that trains 20 hours with a hull of quality. But you got to recover from it, and that's the one that counts. So yes, so the normal block I rotate through, like I said, I have this high-end stuff, a lot of VO2 max kind of pushing the ceiling up after me having 6 years more aerobic work. I turned the screws there. Now I'm going into the Ironman block, so there will be, I discussed this actually with the world champ as well, if I should keep VO2 max in even for one session or not. My gut feeling was saying yes, because I'm getting endless gains, but not in a run, doesn't make any sense. There you have to switch to threshold. So let's go through this. What I had here, my high-end swim, that I kept the same, and that is still kind of relevant, and I'm still gaining so much by swimming that high-end stuff. So this is kind of like these hundreds on 105, 75s, it's kind of the same pace. So that was tough. So hundreds, 75s, and then the 50s, all straight, much rest, so 1000 at VO2 max. VO2 max, stupid word, like just high end, basically the highest I can maintain for the time. And then into 400s, smashing the arms muscular wise, and then again towards the end, under fatigue, still some sprints to get the arm cadence up again, which will be the case in the race, that there will be surges after 2K, 3K, whatever. So you got to be ready physically to do that. So that was a swim. Then I had a 35-minute aerobic run. Did it outside for the first time because I've been running, swimming and cycling indoors for 3 months plus now, 99% solo. And that was also one of the reasons why the holiday in one sense was good, because you refreshed and had something else. But to have a normal life, also go a bit, have other diet things, have a pizza here and there, whatever, just let go a bit of this normal regimented diet, which I need to in order to perform, otherwise I don't have the energy. Can't lack on and say, hey, I don't have this meat, I don't have that, so that's not possible for me, for everybody. But yeah, when you come down out of that environment from all relaxed, fancy, and then you go back into this rhythm of discipline, it's hard. It's extra hard. It's extra hard to go back in it and like you know what's coming. So it's a bit daunting. So I still can feel I need a few days to get back into it. But so then the bike ride here, that we had the 2 minutes, 5 times 2 minutes, 450 watts, 2 minute easy. At VO2 Max, some of you guys knew I struggled with that before. I mean, I still struggle. I suck at it. I really do. One thing, for example, is also with a world champ that's pretty interesting. The level hasn't changed, although everybody says they're getting faster. They are getting faster in times, but the performance levels, very interesting, in swim, bike, run has not changed. That is a big takeaway. So running wise, you need a 3-minute threshold or under, preferably under, you need it. Then on the bike, if you don't do 4 watts per kilogram in Ironman and 4.5% VO3, it's kind of the normal benchmark, hasn't changed, still the same. And VO2 Max, you have to be at 7 watts per kilogram range. So if you do those things, the good thing is for me, that's why, for example, things, so I saw the music, put it down, no problem. There we go. Where was I? Lost the thread here, but okay, we had the 2 minutes and then we went into some sub-threshold stuff. So again, just muscle-wise, some extra load after the VO2 Max stuff, which is pretty challenging. And yes, so there I actually I made it myself. I tried a 2-to-1 ratio. So there are brands out there that have a 2-to-1 ratio, precision hydration. And there's a brand, Morton, which has almost 1-to-1 ratio, glucose, fructose. And yeah, science says kind of this 1-to-1 is almost better for higher carb intake, which is of course for Ironman is relevant, like 120, 130 grams per hour. But I wanted to give it a shot. How's the 2-to-1 working for me? It wasn't precision hydration per se, but I cooked up a 2-to-1 ratio with just buying straight up glucose, like extra powder, and add that on top of the table sugar. Table sugar is always 50-50, so 1-to-1 glucose fructose. So it's basically Morton. Of course, not exactly, there's other stuff in there as well, but it's pretty close, I would say 90% close. So, and I did to 2-to-1, and even after one bottle of 120 grams with 2-to-1, I already had guts, stomachs, I didn't feel like I could do more. So, and before I had no issues with 1-to-1, just straight up sugar, I had no issue whatsoever. So yeah, probably gonna be racing in Morton. Of course, I have to test the products, that's something else. I did that though, I did Morton for years before. I just want to have a look at how potentially 2-to-1 works, but pretty quick takeaway. Then the day afterwards, so day 2 of the Ironman block, we had first an easier swim, 3K, here with some drills and then just nice clean strokes. Then we had a threshold run, the first threshold run. As I said before, like threshold hasn't been something I've been doing in this normal block. I kind of cut it out. I just did aerobic, high aerobic work, LT1, whatever you want to call it. So aerobic, zone 2, and high end. So those two are rotated in my normal block. Now for the Ironman block, especially for running, VO2 Max is not relevant. It's just not, neither in speed nor in physiological thinking. But for the bike and the swim, it still is. So that's why I only had one session. Normally I had 2 days a week when I had this high-end swim, high-end bike day, as some of you know. 2 of those in a 10-day block. Now I have 1 of those. So their threshold, I was pretty toast as well. So there was also something going on actually until this lunchtime. I felt pretty horrible and really, really emotionally empty, close to 0 to be honest. So, and I was thinking, if you're that much in a low, you're so emotional or like so compromised, you can't think. I mean, I'm pretty good at getting rational in emotional situations, but I had my limit there, so I couldn't. So I thought, okay, now I'm out of it. Like now I'm getting out of it. And now I'm analyzing. Okay, what are things? For example, when you're mentally low, don't go right away to XY problems. Your boss or this and that. That's the easy thing the mind want to do. The first thing you have to be sure of, and even I'm not sure, because now I have another bet on why I felt this way. Because physically, as you see, I had easy stuff before. I'm not overtrained or anything like that. There's no sickness coming on. I could tell that with the immune system and the data, how it looked. None of those. That could have caused feeling so poor emotionally, mentally. None of those. Then, okay, for example, the basics you always rotate through, and I couldn't. I was too compromised. Even in that state, I was just like a zombie. I could still do the training. I feel okay, a little bit lower than planned. Just get through it, show up, and get in the repetitions. I knew it was one of those moments because my body still performed. But when it comes then to the basics, you have to scroll through those. So how was your sleep, for example? Sleep last week has been good. Slept well, had recovery, mental freshness. How's your diet been? Okay, I had a lot of different diet things. But then when it came to diet, then it clicked with me, to be honest. Because I started doing one thing. There's one powder I started taking. It's for gut probiotics, basically. And I took it a week before for 2 days. And I already felt really low. But at that point I thought, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's some fatigue. So I took it out anyway. So I only took 2 days of that probiotic stuff. And now I took it again. And now again 2 days. I'm completely in the K-hole, as some people say. Completely in the hole. So gut hormones, especially healthier hormones, massive correlation. So that gut probiotic powder is not for me. That's now a conclusion, because now I'm getting out of it. As soon as I stopped it at 2 days, I took it 2 evenings, just some pulver with water. Of course, probiotic, I took it for immune system and health to help with my journey and performance, but that product I won't take anymore. Then today I had a 90-minute aerobic ride at 260 to 70 watts. There I saw my heart rate was really nice and low, not in a bad way low that I'm like overtrained. I just started really nice and low, so I actually could go to 280 watts, even to 70 to 80 to reach the low end of zone 2. I can really tell the heart rate, like that's kind of the positive thing. Also what the world champ said, I talked with, he basically also said that your peak is going to be higher because you did 6 weeks of this aerobic stuff. Like really, of course, you still build mitochondria and blood flow and all those things. They're still pumped out 20 hours a week, or 15 on average in some years, or 20 mostly. So I did the training, I did a lot of training, but my thresholds in overall were just too low. So I performed pretty high in percentage wise to my threshold, but just the thresholds were poor because the ceiling was very low in all 3 sports. That's why I work on pushing the ceiling up with VO2 max high end stuff. But so that already happened here with this one. So let's go into then the next day. So tomorrow, day 4, I mix it up a little bit. The plan overall, the structure a little bit, because some days are now bigger because of the Ironman volume. So I structure my easy days a little bit different. So I have basically 2 days on where I kind of go a bit in a calorie deficit and fatigue deficit. And then I have 1 day when I kind of do aerobic stuff and just 2 sessions a day when I fuel back up. Because if I do 3 in a row, I think, because some sessions are getting bigger. For example, this one here, tomorrow I have that coming, all indoors. Cannot wait to do the indoors. So here we have, warm up, 4.5 hours ride, 4 times 30 minutes, 300 to 320 watts, 10 minutes easy in between. They are full race nutrition practice, 130 grams with the right sodium. And also made a note here, I made a note on my plan here to scale myself because I want to know my sweat rate. Of course, it's not Texas conditions, but it's the data point. So I want to know my sweat rate. So you step on a scale before the session, naked, dried off, so you have no sweat, no extra weight. And then after the session, you jump on again. And then you put your, whatever you drank, you put that off. So you have the difference, and then you know what your sweat rate is on average for that intensity, for that duration. Then I have a 1 hour run off. That's going to be interesting. I never did that recently at all. So 1 hour at 355 minutes per K pace. I would love to do that outdoors, but it's still icy and still not really runnable. So yeah, that's the problem with the ice right now. that you can't run those paces, or not the same, you slip and it's dangerous. So probably have to do it on a treadmill. I could do it on a track, but it takes a while to get there, so not a while, but like 15 minutes. So it's not per se a brick session. So I have to see. I think I'm gonna do it on a treadmill, as I wrote here. There, the thing is, on one hand you could say, that's good with heat, but I would like to know, because you heat up so much in there and you sweat so much, it's hotter than when you do something. It's a gym, right? It's a gym environment. I have no fan or nothing, so that's gonna be challenging. Probably treadmill, and I expect my heart rate to go a lot higher. But if I do again a treadmill a week later, then the heart rate should already be better. But I think it's worth it because, But on the other hand, I really want to see where my heart rate lies accurately, not just through heat rising the heart rate, but actually through my effort. This week I will do there. I hope next week I can run it outside. Then I have more realistic things. Then day 5 we got. That's a combo I rotate through. So first I have the long run, zone 1, so fat burning, with another run. That's what I have from him, from the guy I talked to. Second run with 5 times 5 minutes at Ironman pace in the evening. So you have 2 runs. So you run it on tight legs, so basically getting your cadence up under fatigue at Ironman pace. A little swim in between, 2K. Then day 6 is aerobic swim, aerobic bike day. Nothing too wild, but still, not per se easy. 10 times 200 on 3, 10 times 100 leaving on 140, so not super tight turnaround, but I'm going to be swimming those at 120 pace, somewhere there, 118, 120, 122, somewhere there, wherever feels most fluent. Then day 7 is the hard day. So there in the past, you remember I had the VO2 max stuff again, just another length of intervals, but now we got here 15 to 20 times 100, leaving on 130. So kind of this 70.3 effort threshold range. That one. And probably with wetsuit or swim skin. So I get used to that as well. So I think I'm going to be swimming those at 110, 112, 110. Yeah. If I go hard. I mean, a wetsuit should be a lot quicker than probably 108. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see how it is. But hundreds, to be honest, it's a good starting point, but hundreds I don't think say a ton about your ability to hold a stroke for a longer time. So I'm just starting with hundreds, but then I pretty much go quickly into 200s and especially 400s, because that's more realistic to your actual paces. Because the hundreds, everybody can swim a nice 100. It's a 1 minute effort. Everybody can hold their stroke together for that time. But can you do it for 5 minutes, for 400s consistently? That's more important than the hundreds. Then I have a bike test, my wife with some research stuff. And then we have low gear, big gear work, 6 times 15 minutes at 70.3 power, which I assume is 340, 350 watts for 70.3. The numbers might sound very high and all those things, but I also look for watt per kilogram. I mean, on a flat course, it doesn't matter so much if I'm, let's say, raced at 85 or 83 kilos versus someone at 79. There, watts matter, but I don't really care about that. Again, it's about my journey, so I want to get that number up for the full, for example, to at least now. I think I'm going to be racing this year at 3.7 watts per kilogram, so not 4. So I want to get it to 4 this year. That's kind of a magic number. And then my Ironman watts are already at 350 watts. So that's for me then Ironman. So the potential, is there. The thing is, the numbers are going to be a lot higher at the same watts per kilogram than someone else. If I would be 65 kilograms, to be honest, I don't think I had any belief that I can make it, to be honest. Because one of my secret weapons, kind of like Magnus Diplet, what he has, is due to the weight and leverage and being strong, but due to weight a lot. Your watts per kilogram are just so much higher. So if another guy at 70 kilos has a threshold of, 370 watts, then another guy like Magnus Ditlev has a threshold of 430 watts. Most races are not hilly like that. So most races, watts per speed, so aerodynamic matter. But that's why I think it's awesome that Nice is there, Nice as a course, and Ironman, so you really have, for both people, the advantage. But Nice still has a lot of time traveling, so it's not just hills, it's still a time trial course. Then we got day 9. Then day 8 is still off. Day 9 is gonna be a bit more. I gotta do one of those blocks. But in general, the more easy training, easy aerobic training, and especially in the run zone 1 even, there it matters. The more I can put in next to those sessions and recover from and not impact the quality sessions, obviously the better. But I gotta see, quality over quantity. But not gonna, if I feel, even if I lack, because of an easy run the day before, I lack 10% in performance the next day in a key session, then it's not worth it in my eyes. So that's gonna be that. And then we got a couple of those. So I guess the next stuff we can do next week then. Okay, let's go into the questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them there in the comment section. Also, if you missed this chat and you see it next week or you see it after it went live, you can send me an email or send me a DM on Instagram. Email is info@matti-weitz.com. You can send me an email there for the question for next week. I'll be doing this every week. Like training, I'm gonna show up. One quick mention, something I started doing is on YouTube I did a membership. So anyone who is looking to support and enjoys these videos, there's like 2 different models you can support the channel with. On YouTube, you can have a look at the membership. So basically, where it says subscribe on the channel, it's like 2 different models. One is $4.99, or one is $9.99, canceling in time, and there's some benefits to that. And yeah, that's it. There's also super thanks, just some YouTube stuff I found now. But then Mary asked, does cross-country skiing help the triathlon? Aerobically, yes. So from a training perspective, of course, the heart doesn't know if you're cycling, swimming, or running. Can't tell the difference. Some say, okay, the upper body you still have like swimming and all that, but I believe that. One second. Yeah, but I believe that. Yeah, I mean, I did it now, but what I did just notice when I was in the gym doing some mobility, that 1 week, it was 4 or 5 days of not swimming, not doing mobility work, and just skiing, it does a lot for your mobility in a bad way. So shoulder mobility and like, yeah, I don't know. It's not hurting for sure, but if you can choose, it's more for a mental part, I would say, to mix it up a bit. But if you can choose between running, depends what your goal is. If you want to have fun, do it. If it's only performance, I think you would rather run. Good. Then here, Adam asked, what is your TSS for a week? How varies on cycles? TSS is a tricky one. You know why? Because some say, for example, I got 1,600 TSS. The other one says, I only have 1,100. And there are some magic barriers kind of that they even say on Training Peaks, TSS. So that's a training stress score. It basically measures your load per week based on your thresholds. So your thresholds in swim, bike, run have to be accurate in order to get this TSS. It's a number per week. So basically your load per week. And I do use that and I keep an eye on that. But it kind of matters, for example, in a swim, let's say. Most people don't have a watch on and measure the exact intervals. If you do have a watch on, the TSS for a 1 hour swim is completely different to having a TSS just auto-calculated from Training Peaks. So there's lots of what ifs, how that is planned. So you can't really at all compare your TSS to someone else's because you have no idea how they structured it. You have no idea if their thresholds are correct. So yeah. Also for me, I don't have a 7-day rhythm, right? So TSS, I think for me, I'm sitting around 1,200, 1,300, something like that. And what I do, again, either I could, like you say, with cycles, so either what you could do is you are 3 weeks on, basically 3 weeks loading TSS and 1 week off. I think is an amazing thing to do for age groupers, really, really practical. For me, it's a bit different because first of all, Monday to Friday doesn't exist for me. There's no Monday, there's no Sunday, there's no weekend. It's basically 7 days a week in a sense. And it doesn't matter if it's Monday, whatever day it is, right? For me, yep, now being all in on that. So that's the thing. So I have a 10-day rhythm, meaning I want to reset every 10 days. So That's why I have in each 10 days, some of you guys know I have a full off day in there and active recovery in the end to really absorb the load. And on day one on the next training block, I can tell on a swim in the morning if I absorbed the last block or not, because swim is very accurate in telling you your fatigue level. So yeah, that's me. But for age groupers, I think it's amazing to have a look at that. And as long as you measure consistently with TSS and always have the same, but if you one time take the watch with to the swimming, the other time not, then your whole TSS score is for nothing. Or let's say one day you do a gym bike and you go in the gym and cycle and not your home one with power, yeah, your whole TSS is again for the week completely different. KL wrote something in my brain because I'm reading German. Yeah, happy to hear that really enjoys the stuff here from the triathlon scene. Happy to hear that. We are already on for half an hour. I think I went through my training, went through all the things. Again, overall, had some good learnings, but definitely extremely challenging last 3 days for me on the limit. But not physically per se, not that it's training wise anything going wrong, but things were just challenging. It's very challenging, but everybody got stuff going on in life, and again, this is a challenge I choose, right? I can choose to opt out any day of the week. I can say I quit today, which I'm not, and then tomorrow I just take a job, boom, problem solved, or whatever, like for example financially or like all those things. But I will never quit on my dreams, so I'll be that annoying pit bull, keep going. So you gotta push through the things, and many times I've felt in the past that when the universe gives you a lot of challenges, that's sometimes the point really shortly before something good is happening. But life annoyingly is always like this for everybody. So yeah, I'm sharing this journey here, so I could have just skipped it and not mentioned it, but I think it's important to mention that it's not all rosy and sunshine. Even if training is going well now and I feel like I have a good grip on things, one thing really is I noticed like I said, this community in a sense that you kind of like, for example, when you look at the Kenyans, they have this community thing, or like even swimmers. I think, as I mentioned before, like this is a sport where there's high volume training. You train 2-3 times a day, right? And this is, I think, the only intense endurance sport where you do everything alone. Most triathletes, let's say take swimming, you have your squat. It's hard enough as it is to do the sessions, right? But you have a squat, you have a coach on deck. It's like, in comparison to what triathletes do, I feel like, to be honest, that's almost easy. Not, obviously not, but you know what I mean. Same with cyclists. Okay, they do a lot of cycle sessions alone, but still they have a team, right? They go out and ride with a team. They suffer together in a sense. If one doesn't want to go, doesn't matter. 9 people are there showing up and they're gonna make you laugh, they're gonna distract you. And that's a superpower. So that's a superpower I'm gonna look for. And like I said, maybe build up my own kind of small circle of environment that can tick that box, because it's important. Because also for me to get to this high level, it's gonna, you see the numbers maybe are high and stuff, but for my potential, it's where I'm at. But it's gonna take 2 years of proper work to get to the level of, let's say, for example, to someone like Magnus Ditlev, to get to those ranges in threshold. Takes time. It's no magic, right? So in order to do this and to put those hours in, yeah, you gotta have a maintainable rhythm. So that's something I'm working on from my side. But yeah, it's always a journey. Philip here is from Lanzarote. Oh man, that sounds good. I've been there once. Beautiful place, good for training and time trialing. Stay safe on the roads. Sometimes can get a bit hectic there. But yeah, if you guys have nothing else, I think we're gonna be doing I'll stop already at 36 minutes record for me now. But yeah, again, if you guys have any other questions, you can send me for next time. I'll check in. But happy I did the chat and we still got it in and shared this. Also good to always talk it through, right? Anyways, I hope you're well and I see you in next week's chat. Bye bye.